They're my girls. Oh my God. Okay. Well, I hope everybody that's out there watching can, handle it right now. Cause it's for one tonight. The KGRA banner has a tagline that says, make contact, stay connected. And I think that that's so perfect for this network because that's what we did. We each and every one of us made contact with the other, sometimes through each other, and we have stayed connected and we have formed a sisterhood. We're all star sisters. We're all bound to each other in the most peaceful, graceful, loving way imaginable. And so when we're all together and, we're missing a few of our inner circle. Greta's traveling with Chip tonight. And I do believe Jennifer is otherwise indisposed.
Yep. She's a Beale Manor.
Yeah. So, okay. And, so these paranormal people, when they get a chance to go investigate a really cool place, they'll dump us.
It's not fair.
I blame them.
I don't blame her either, but
No,
still,
I don't either.
It's what they do. And and she's an excellent investigator. So, I totally get it. But, we'll do this again and again. The wisdom of the aged, although she's young compared to most of us. But still, she has the wisdom of an old swamp hag. I love her. I do. So 2 weeks ago, we all got together in our very favorite magical, mystical place where you're never really in 3D for more than a moment or two. And then you just drift on out again. And everybody gets lost in a building that we all know like the back of our hands. And no one can explain how it happens or why. But, Deb, why don't you open up the show tonight with sharing what we shared, our experience. We started it in Soul School for the first hour. Mm-hmm. So let's just carry on about all this healing and this magical energy that goes on with these extraordinary, extraordinary women.
Well, all of our shows together wouldn't be enough time to really cover the magic that happened. But the first thing I want to say is none of this could have taken place without our group. Every person here was so very important and put their heart and soul and love into an event that was magical. It was all about unity, gathering, and healing. And of course,
introducing love and introducing the ministry, talk about that, for anybody that's interested in joining us in this group of like-minded individuals. And it doesn't have to just be women. I mean, we let a man or two come to that event, didn't we? I don't know if they snuck in or what, but yeah.
Yes. Marie Thompson, Valerie Michael, Jamila McKenzie, and myself and Andrea have worked for months and months and months, probably close to a year.
Yeah.
On getting this all together. All of the paperwork is done. Everything was in place, but we waited until this special weekend to announce the Unity Tree Interfaith Ministries. And it's something that's very near and dear to our hearts. Every person that was there, again, we couldn't have done it without everybody and everything that was put into it. Put into not only the ministry, but bringing the ministry alive. And that really did happen this weekend. So, we're very pleased with that. Last weekend, we actually had our first, as the Unity Tree Interfaith Ministries, had our first gathering at Mystical Awakenings here in Houghton Lake. Mm-hmm. And that was beautiful, wonderful. It was nice to get together and have some people come in and learn about what we're doing and to get involved, because this is something that our hope is will help everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a time for us to circle the wagons and gather. Birds of a feather do tend to flock together. And, it's so important that we stay engaged and grow our circle and expand it, because the light that is at the center of the circle expands with the circle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So true. So true.
I was surprised how many followers are already on the site. People who are really interested.
Mhm.
Some of them don't live close by,
Mhm.
but our hope is that somewhat soon we can start doing some videos of the event or the gatherings, and maybe some specific talks about certain subjects, and make it available to those who don't live close by. So
Right. Right.
Yeah, and we can also do sessions. We can talk to Bill about this, where we can have a group where we're all together and we can have our expression and share it with. I mean, you can do a Zoom session that's got hundreds of people on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that works, but I'll bet you Bill does.
I bet he could figure it out.
Yeah.
Bill
Well,
knows
I can't figure it
everything.
out because my brain hurts. So we'll let Lenny figure it out, because she's a
Yeah.
freaking
No.
wizard genius.
Okay,
She's
no,
a miracle.
Lenny will be contacting Greta.
Oh, but when Greta and Lenny hook up,
Yes.
oh, the things
Greta
that
and I
can
are like
happen.
one.
Wonder Twin powers activate.
Yes, we have Wonder Twin powers.
Yes. I mean, we will grow this.
Yeah,
we
I
will
think
grow
so too.
this. And the thing that's so beautiful about it is that this is the time it is most needed.
Mhm.
I can't think of a time in my lifetime when people needed each other the way we do right now. The closest that we've come to this was 4 or 5 years ago during COVID, when everybody was isolated from each other, and the only way that we could connect is in like this kind of a setting.
right.
Where we could safely love each other from a safe distance.
Mhm.
And lived through a period of time, everybody in the world did, where the best way to show someone how much you love them is to stay the hell away from them. Now we're past that now. And
Yay.
now that we
Thank
have,
God.
it's not going away, it's endemic. I know people who have COVID right now. Just a variant of it. But, I would say that we are through the worst of it, and most of us have built up a substantial immunity to it, no matter how it tries to morph itself into something else. And it's just one of countless viruses that are on the planet that attack us microscopically. And if we were afraid of viruses, none of us would ever function at all. We would just stay home in our little hovel and try to, live out our life the best we can without getting infected by someone. We can't live like that.
Mm-mm.
We won't live like that. And so there's an inherent risk that's built in. And I knew that when Greta picked me up in my front yard here and we went to the airport. I was prepared for whatever would come. But I knew that I needed to be with all of you for that weekend more than anything. That's what I needed, and that I would deal with whatever came. And my oncologist was very supportive. I mean, at this point, she doesn't even know what to make of me. And so she just said, well, you go, girl, have a good time. How long is it? How many days? I said, 3 days, about 100 people. Maybe a little more. She's like, okay. How many at the airport? 16 million.
Right.
Oh God. But yeah. We did it. We navigated the treacherous waters of Hartsfield International Airport and through Detroit, which was a breeze compared, and up to Houghton Lake, and hugging and kissing and dancing and laughing and singing and
I love
carrying
the
on
dancing
like
part.
banshees.
We do have videos.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Oh no!
Oh,
You
God.
need those to go to load. No, no.
I
Bill-
should have thought to send that to Bill.
No, well, it's just too
That's-
bad that you forgot. But that's
Oh,
the
no.
symptom of old age.
Shucks.
The memory goes.
Well, now he knows and can remind me for the next time. Look out.
Okay, yeah. Okay, see, now he's laughing. Now he's
Yeah.
in private chat laughing. Okay.
But the beauty is, we talked about it in Soul School. All these people are manifesting you as healthy, strong, healed. And I have to say that there was this little piece of Deb, the paramama they call me, that was terrified you might
Yes, you were.
get sick. So I was ready to kick butt. We had sanitizer and masks and some good fists going, but I couldn't keep you down, number one. But it all worked.
It did.
I wanted to pull people away from you here and there.
Well,
That wasn't gonna happen.
I rested when I needed to.
Yeah.
And, it wasn't just Greta that could spot it on my face when I had Lenny got to me first a couple of times and just said, okay, follow me. I know where you live, and took me right to my room. But the only other thing, Lenny, were you in the truck when Jen got cut off and hit the brakes really hard, and I went flying off the back seat of the truck into the?
I missed that.
I'm sorry. Only Greta saw me.
Yeah. Oh my
From
God.
a pile of mush on the back seat, and it was a roll of paper towel. That
Yeah.
saved me from smashing my head into the
Oh, my
door.
gosh.
Oh,
Yeah. It was a good thing that was under the seat.
That was the closest that we came to, and it wasn't her fault.
No, it wasn't.
her
Yeah.
fault.
No, she's a good driver.
She's an excellent driver. Yeah, it was not Jen's fault, but
Mhm.
I went flying, and it woke me up. It did. I'll tell you, that whole weekend, there were a couple of times the energy output from you ladies. I'm sitting right next to Marie. I've got Marie on one side of me. I've got Linny on the other side of me. I've got Deb that's usually right behind me. Val's right across the next table. I've got Mimi. I've got, all these people that have come that keep coming up to the table and coming up, and we were taking photographs, and we were laughing, and we were talking, and we were essentially making love. The whole group, not in a sexual way, in a higher love, making higher love to each other, with each other, holding each other, loving each other, in terms of like we were just energy balls that were merging together, like balls of light that were just coming together. And then Mimi made me dance.
She made you. I saw her with that whip.
It was your
I didn't
song.
see any arm twisting. I didn't see any arm
It was
twisting.
your
either.
song.
Well,
It
Valerie,
was Stevie
when
Wonder.
you
You
weren't
heard Stevie
paying
Wonder, and you couldn't keep your booty still.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm mortified that you just said that live on the air. Mortified. I was not just jiggling there, by the way.
No.
When
She
you
had
got
her boots on the ground.
I got a boo-boo-boobie, and and I can't just bind it all together. I have to let the girls,
No. Release the Kraken.
That's right.
Yeah.
Breathe. That's right. I didn't even bring a bra with me. Why would I? Why?
It was that kind of weekend.
It was that
It
kind of
was. It
weekend.
really was.
Yeah.
And I figured if I got patted down at TSA, good on me, because I mean,
Right.
I haven't been touched in a while. Bring it. I sailed right through. Right through.
You were like, darn it, you sure you don't want to
Are you
frisk me?
sure you don't want to frisk me?
Well, that's the beauty of that weekend. When we do the mystical retreats, bras are optional, shoes are optional, everything, just be comfortable. And I
Yeah.
can tell you, my bra was not on most of the time.
Yeah. Well, I don't see why. I mean, wasn't it really about, liberating ourselves in so many different ways?
Absolutely.
I wore a bathing suit for the first time in I don't know how many years.
Yay.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, really. You didn't know that? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good job.
I wanted to go. I did. That was the one
It
thing
was-
that I wanted to do that I
I
didn't get
know.
to do when I
It-
was.
Well, then you have to come back.
Yeah, I have.
I mean,
That's a
Have to
given. That's a given. And I am just going to make the assumption that we will all be together at UFO Contact the last weekend of September. I'm just going to make the assumption that we will all be there. And many, many of the people that came to our mystical healing weekend are going to join us, some of which have never been to UFO Contact because I asked, when will I see you next? Because this is going to be my next trip to Michigan. Be here. I've already got a list this long for you. There it is.
There
it is. Thank you, Bill. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful banner.
Yes, I love the colors. And
I
Mike
do.
makes the banners.
Yeah, I love the colors on that
Yeah,
one.
Mike makes the banners. Mike
the
is
amazing Mike.
It's really good.
good. Yes.
Magic Mike. Is that what you
Magic
say?
Mike.
We got to get him up dancing.
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
It could happen.
Just saying.
Good.
Hey,
It really depends on what he drinks first. Oh,
Yeah.
Brian, thank you,
you.
sweetheart.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. I'm not technically like a mother, like I never
Yeah,
had
you are.
children,
Yeah.
and yet I do. I have 2 puppies here that I mother very well. A cat that ignores me unless I can feed her at any
And
given moment.
chickens and squirrels and
And chipmunks and squirrels and
everything you can
Chickens.
think of.
Whatever else wanders into
whatever else wanders into the yard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that needs
That's how I
mothering
got
goes
my
to Annie.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very interesting too, because last week, and I meant to tell you guys this, and some of you might know, but it was very interesting. Remember last October when some of you did that prayer circle for me and they took the shot of the angel above, the Aurora angel, which is going to be the cover of my next book. Well, while I was with all of you, he's so sweet. Look at that smile. So sweet.
Yes. Love it.
I can't even express how this felt to me, but I felt that angelic energy with us and around us while that was happening. And because I was with all of you and we were doing a healing thing that Friday night while Jeff was covering both hours for Soul School and A World Awakening, he had a wonderful guest on named Joelle, who is a mystic. And Joelle said that I have angelic protection around me, and that he saw Gabriel. That was okay. And so it hit me like a rock when Jeff told me, because a couple of years ago I went into the grocery store just down around the corner, and Chris was working. She was a professional cake decorator and artist, really is what she is. And so I stopped at the bakery to see her, and then I started walking over toward the deli, and there was this little boy, this lovely, like, oh God, she was just a woman of substance, very tall, beautiful African-American woman that was standing right in front of the deli. And her little son was standing beside her, and he broke away from her and he came running over to me and wrapped his arms around my legs And she was freaking out. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He's never done anything like this before, not ever in his life. And I scooched down and I got eye to eye with him. And I told him he was the most handsome young man I had ever seen. And we started talking. I asked him his name, and he said, my name is Gabriel, like the angel.
Oh my
And I was like, oh my God, it all came together. And remember how many times I have said that photograph feels like male energy to me.
Mhm.
And suddenly it all clicked, and I understood that was the Archangel Gabriel that appeared above the prayer circle that you did for me in Michigan on my birthday, October 10th of 2024. And it all came together at once.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
That is amazing.
That's supposed to be
Beautiful. Yeah.
That's cool.
That poor woman almost had a nervous breakdown.
I bet.
She's like,
Yeah.
I can't believe he's doing this. So I took the time to tell her about the coups in Scotland when I came out of the 1600-year-old Balgony Castle, and they all started running toward me. And I was with the laird. I was with the owner. And he's like, I do not know what's happening here. I don't, they don't behave like this. They don't. And they all came. It was like in a scene from Jurassic Park where they're all running together and they go down the hill and then they all come up the hill. And the professor says they look like a flock of birds. Well, this was a flock of coos with the horns out the sides.
Wow.
And they all came up to the fence. And I had to kiss them and put, Sam, that sounds disgusting. Whatever you are talking about right now. Cat hairballs don't sound that bad, Sam. Oh. So anyway, I apologize. Sam is nagging on something. Who knows? But he's fine. He does this from time to time. He'll be fine. But anyway, I had to walk down the line. There were like 50 of them. And I had to walk down the line and I kissed my hand and I put it on their forehead. And whoever I touched would step out of line and let the next one come in. And that happened for about 20 minutes. And everybody on the bus was like, what the hell is going on here? So, it was my favorite memory from going to Scotland. Touching all of the coups and kissing all of the coups.
That's so cool.
Because they felt my energy and they wanted me to touch them. It was absolutely, we have photographs, we have film. We do. Yep. It was an amazing experience. So anyway, I get that, but now I know that it's Archangel Gabriel and who else knows? And we talked about this too, about the power of our belief structure. Right. Even atheists have a belief system. Their belief system dictates to them that God does not exist. But they believe that God does not exist. Mm-hmm. So even atheism is a belief system. That's not my belief system. And if I have learned about the power of prayer and the power of meditation and the power of healing and what happened 2 weeks ago for 3 days where we were intertwined like golden threads in a tapestry. Mm-hmm. And we created our own absolutely beautiful image of how perfect it can be when you take that kind of energy and put it all together, and no one is extending of themselves with even a modicum, even an inkling of what's in it for me.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That was the cool part.
That's the very cool part.
That was the cool part. And I have to add something. I brought my kids with me.
Mm-hmm.
You did.
And we got home.
Kids.
They love you.
We're keeping them.
Got a little jealous.
Yeah, we're keeping our kids.
I got home and my son is 22. And the fact that my 22-year-old son wants to hang with his mom and his mom golden girl friends is pretty awesome in itself. But you know, he has been a little down lately. He feels like he is a little awkward, and you know, you know how for those who have children who might be slightly or autistic or whatever, you know how sometimes they feel. My baby came home after that weekend elevated, and he said he felt inspired. He told, because my mother, we went to go see my mom, because right after that my aunt turned 89. All the
Wow.
little hours were hers that were there. But and he said that he felt inspired and that he wants to continue, and anytime we have these things that he wants to be there. So yes, there were gentlemen there, and there were some that were in their early 20s, and he's telling his friend, okay dude, you got to come, and this, that, and the other. So you know, it for those who might be thinking you know exactly what it is, you don't.
You don't.
You really don't.
You don't.
Just,
No, you got to be
it
there to feel it.
transcends
Mhm.
age, it transcends sex, it transcends, you know, identity. It just transcends it all. And then we all begin to go to a place where we just begin to meld into this one thing.
Mhm.
We're not black, we're not white, we're not men, we're not women. We're just beings of love coming together and raising vibrations and sending stuff out. And one of the people that we prayed for, all of us know Michelle.
Mhm.
She's going to be able to come to Parapsychon next weekend because she's feeling better. And she's been really down. But we put her in that circle. I don't think that that's coincidence. I really don't. So
Mhm.
I just wanted
No.
to tell y'all that
Yeah.
because he
Well,
had a
thank
great
you.
time.
'Cause
And I
I
wanted
want-
y'all to know how much he
Yes.
enjoyed. And he just he doesn't talk to anybody.
Mhm.
You know how quiet Josh is, Deb.
Mhm.
He doesn't
He
talk
talks
to
to me.
anybody.
I was
Yes,
gonna
he
say,
did.
yes.
He
Yeah,
loves
he's
you.
very
He was-
comfortable.
Yeah, he was totally fine. He seemed very comfortable.
Both
And
of
that
the
was
kids
that's
were,
not how he is. So
yeah, well, both
That's
of them were
awesome.
very open.
I would not have known that.
Yeah.
And they
No, he
rocked
doesn't-
the singing bowls.
But you know, yes, they
Yes.
rocked the singing
They
bowls.
did.
And you know something, I was just watching something just recently, yesterday or the day before, about the crisis that's occurring with young men and the doctor that was speaking. And this is grim, but I'm going to share it. It's important for people to know. He said, and he spoke very bluntly, and he said, if you walk into a morgue and there are 5 bodies in there from suicide, 4 of them will be men under the age of 25.
Yeah.
That is horrifying. And if we can help bring them in,
Mhm.
if we can do that, then we will really be doing a service for the world, because they are lost.
Yes.
They are.
and they don't know how to express it a lot of the
Right.
times. They don't know how to express it because people tell them you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to cry. If you talk about it, you're this. If you don't talk about it, you're that. They don't, it's just hard.
Yeah.
And
it
for all
is.
of us boy moms, we hear it,
Yeah.
you know, we see
Absolutely.
it, and it is hard,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I spent most of last year terrified that my son was going to kill himself. I'm not even exaggerating about that. He was completely, and he's in his early 30s, but it's young men in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was bad before COVID.
Yeah.
But COVID exacerbated it in
Oh.
ways that none of us anticipated.
Mhm.
And a lot of it had to do with kids not being able to go to school.
Yeah.
And that socialization, you know, they can bitch and complain all they want getting on that school bus. But as soon as they plant their ass in a seat and one of their pals comes over and pops down next to them, the day has begun before they ever step foot on the school property.
That's right.
And the socialization continues. And, you know, the showing of pictures and the chatting about what happened the night before, just like people who go into office buildings and have long conversations over water coolers that came to an abrupt halt during COVID, right? But those were fully mature adults who found other coping skills and other ways and had access to, you know, Zoom offices and had access to their coworkers that way. But the kids were all separated from each other in a very fast and drastic way. And it had a very adverse impact on them. The effect was devastating. Tenny is acting up, isn't he, Val?
Oh, he's whining, so I'm just petting him and scratching his back.
Okay, you tell him
Poor
Auntie Annie is
Tenny.
coming back. No, you tell him Auntie Annie is coming back, and that I'm bringing these nails, which he loved.
Yeah,
Down.
I've been working on mine.
You have nothing but nubs. He loves my nails. So
He's a mascot.
Yeah, mascot.
Before we move forward, I have a little announcement to make as well. Somebody else that was put into the healing circle, and we've actually been sending healing to him for months, got to ring the cancer bell. Tim R. I don't know if I
Really?
spelled him or not, but yes, he rang the bell.
He put it on Facebook, so it might be okay.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's on there.
I know it's in his group. I don't know if
Oh,
it's
sorry.
public or not, but it's in his healing group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to tell
Also,
Deb.
Also, someone else who was in the healing circle, Deb's daughter Monica had put a name in of a baby that was not doing well. They didn't think the baby was going to survive.
No.
And after that weekend, what was it, like just 3 days later, the baby went home and the baby's doing good.
Shut up.
Wow.
He had been in the hospital and deteriorating.
Yeah,
There's
they
all
did not
kinds of
think the
issues.
baby was going to make it.
Don't you love it when
Suddenly.
love shows up and healing shows out? Don't you just freaking, it gets me going like that. Die.
Yeah.
Yes.
Never mind. Go ahead. Continue.
You know, and too often we're too fast to say, well, you know, we hope that what we did had a positive impact on all these other people. You know what? We made a positive impact on all of these other people. Own it, claim it, call it what it is.
Damn
It
right.
is healing energy. It is dispersed throughout the universe, and we channeled it where it needed to go, period.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
That's
No,
how
Ain't that right, Marie?
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that we had a first timer that she'd never done a healing circle before. And I'd asked her just before, you know, have you ever done this before? And she said, no. And, you know, afterwards I came up and I kind of followed up. I'm like, well, what'd you think? She goes, that is amazing. There's nothing like that energy to feel that. And it's not something you can really explain to someone unless they really experience it.
Yeah.
I just was mentioning in the chat, Nikki Colbridge had said that her mom is in remission from her cancer as well, which is
Wonderful.
amazing.
Bless. God.
Such great news, all of this.
Love the praise reports. Love the
Yes.
praise reports.
Reports. Yeah.
Yep,
Love them.
absolutely.
Here for it.
Know it.
Here
Own
for
it.
it.
Well, you know, we one thing that Deb and I talked about during Soul School was the exchange, the interchange of energy, and how it shot through the group and out into, you know, it went where we directed it. It was directed inward. It came back and, you know, it crossed currents and it went into other people. I mean, everybody that was present that weekend for that event was permanently impacted with something that happened to them that was life altering and consciousness altering and consciousness raising. We literally raised the vibration of the planet with what we did. And it was what, maybe 100 of us total most of the time, maybe 100 people.
Maybe.
You can do a lot with a few.
Right. Yeah, and it's all about that collective consciousness and collective love. And we purposely we had a bowl under the healing table and asked everybody, you know, put names in there of people who need healing. And when we did circle holding hands, you know, speak that name out loud. So it gives a lot of power. But once, like you said, Andrea, once we did our circle, we sent it out.
Mm-hmm.
and out and finally throughout the whole universe. So
Yeah.
yeah. And
Because
it's,
once
I
you
think,
create it, it don't go, it doesn't just disappear.
right.
Energy. Energy.
No. Yeah. It
Mhm.
continues for sure. And we asked it to continue.
Mm-hmm.
And as
I
long
think
as
that's
we
the
know it,
greatest revelation in the last 1,000 years is that our greatest, before was fire, that's great. But the understanding that energy can neither be created nor destroyed
Yeah.
is pivotal to our understanding of how to not only generate and direct it, but to shape shift it. And so I don't like to use the word manipulate, although that is an accurate description.
It is.
of what we do.
It's very accurate.
We shape shift it. We give it that we give it a certain buoyancy, we give it a certain trajectory, we give it a certain intention. And as Deb and I have talked about so much, thoughts are things.
Yeah.
Thoughts are things, and thoughts not only generate energy, but they generate and release emotion.
Mhm.
And there was an awful lot of laughing and an awful lot of crying and an awful lot of, oh, Marie, a couple of times, honey, I turned and I looked at your face and you were just, I could like flushed, like somebody had just said something really dirty to you. And then I turned and I looked at Lenny and blamed her.
It probably was me anyway, so
it probably
very well
was.
could be.
Yeah, we didn't really watch our mouths too closely that weekend.
Mhm.
I don't think anybody edited anything that they said all weekend long.
Right.
didn't
And
need to.
It's probably good it
Yeah,
wasn't
I
little
really-
kids there.
Yeah, I really like that because we were able to talk about so many things. I've never heard us have conversations out loud in public like that. Especially like when Deb and I were talking, we just touched on so many subjects that we don't usually get to talk about in a big group like that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and all of you told everybody that was coming, basically what to expect. And what to expect is don't expect anybody that was present to hold back, not even this much, from what has to be said, what needed to be said, what needed to be shared. And you warned them, if we say anything that offends you, you are absolutely free to get up, go downstairs, have a cup of coffee. That's fine. Nobody left. They listened to every single word that came out of every single one of us.
Yep.
And everybody got something. It was, so many times you would hear, whether it was when Deb was up, whether it was Annie was up, no matter what we was doing, even in bingo, oh, I needed to hear that. Or that was for me. Or, oh my God, you changed. Or I needed to, oh, that's exactly what it's like everybody took something that they needed and took it with them. You know what I mean? And it just, that's the mandate. That's why we're here, is to make sure that we're giving of ourselves so you can keep going until we see you next time. Or, if you got all the healing you need, then you can go give it to somebody else and then they can get healed. And then we can keep this whole healing love fest going and shake some stuff up.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Now Marie's blushing again. Either that or the color. No. Okay, no. All right. Okay. Well, very rosy tonight, honey. Maybe it's the peach color that you're.
Well, remember her age, Annie?
Austin. I don't know. I don't know. She's just.
I don't have a handy fan like me.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
I'm kind of hot too. I'm taking this off again. I even had to put the fan on. But it's Georgia. You guys are up in the frozen tundra. No excuse. Crack a window.
It's getting nice now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Well, and that all depends on your, definition of nice. What is
To
that?
ground his thought.
66 and sunny.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's actually nice.
And we're supposed to be in
Did
the
we get-
80s next week.
I know. You're going to be hotter than we are in Georgia next week. I know. You
We're
know
not
why?
ready
Because
for
the freaking world's on fire and everything's screwed up and the poles
Right.
are about to shift.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
gosh. We got so much
Yes.
work to do, girls. Oh,
Yes, we do, and we'll do it. We'll just keep doing it, right?
We just keep at it. That's all
Yeah.
we can do.
Can I announce the website for
Yes,
Michigan
please
UFO Contact?
Mhm.
Just because we're all a little, ADHD, we bounce around a bit.
Little.
But it hit me. It's like, oh, I need to announce it. So it's miufocon.com. Real simple. And if you have Facebook, you can look up Michigan UFO Contact. Tickets are on sale on Ticket Leap.
yeah, and
And
put
you
it
can
in the
access
chat
those.
too. You can type it into the chat.
I'll put it on like after, because if I do it now, it won't show up.
Okay, well, if we had the presence of mind, Bill could have put it on in a banner for the bottom
Yeah.
of the show.
Right, but it'll be on there forever if I do it after.
Yeah. But
Okay.
if anybody,
We'll
decides,
get it out there.
if somebody wants it, contact one of us.
Mhm.
But that will be our next in-person gathering,
Yes.
September
Yes.
26th, 27th.
Yeah, and the
In
rooms
Houghton
go
Lake.
fast. So everybody that wants to come better,
Yeah, I better
book.
get mine.
Yeah, the rooms are either sold out or very
I think they
close
are.
to sold out.
I think they're sold out because
But
we checked. Somebody checked when we were there, and I think it was already sold out.
yeah.
Wow.
Okay,
If,
well,
if anybody
so-
calls the Lakeside Resort and Conference Center, 989-422-4000,
she's got it memorized.
I do. You
I
can
almost have
ask-
it memorized.
If you just ask for a room, they will tell you there are no rooms available.
Okay.
If you say, I need a room for Michigan UFO Contact, I have my tickets, you might get if there's rooms available, that's the only way they will
Do
say,
they still have
yeah.
that sister property?
The, American Inn and Suites is like right around the corner. They're not owned by the same people any longer.
Okay.
But
it
the
is separate.
person who used to own the Lakeside still owns American Inn and Suites, and he's wonderful at giving discounted rates to our people. So
Great.
if they are booked, call the American Inn and Suites or one of the other locals. Yeah. Sorry about that. I had to get that plug in.
There's a first floor room available for me, though, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Just making sure. Just making sure.
I'm guessing I'm too late for that boat, so I don't know. I'll probably just stay here. I don't know.
With
We'll
me
see.
at your house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can always just, if they don't have a room.
Always
We'll be at Val's.
stay with them.
We'll have a pajama party here after the event.
That actually
That
sounds
works.
a lot of fun.
That
Chill
works.
out time
is
for
fun.
sure.
We've actually done that
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun.
Appreciate
Pajama parties. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
because you got to get into your
Oh,
inner child.
Yay.
Yay, Tom!
Tom's coming.
I love that man.
I
He's
love
amazing.
that man. Carmen's coming, I do believe.
Oh yay.
And it's Tom's birthday weekend.
Let's
Nice.
celebrate.
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
it's so many birthdays around that time,
Yes.
including my wizard. RJ's birthday is like
And
a week
Mike's with,
before.
yeah.
Yeah, they have the same exact birthday. Andrea's birthday is not long after that.
October 10th. Yeah.
Right. My daughter, Monica, who loves Andrea as well, is October 8th.
Yep.
So yeah, we have lots of birthdays.
We're going to have a
That's awesome.
wonderful time. Well, I was, I don't want to embarrass him or anything, but, Tom and I have been in very regular contact. since the event. I mean, we have been anyway, but since the event, so a lot of things have been happening. And he was one of the people that reached out to me and said, "Yowza," basically. And so, and I'm so happy about that. I mean, I'm so happy about that because that's why we do what we do. And he really is a part of our inner circle. And he is, and I know this would embarrass him, but I'm going to say it anyway. If more men were like him, this world would be a much better place.
Amen.
A much better place. He is so kind and so loving and so gifted. It's just, he's an amazing, amazing man. And as a medium, it is, Deb, the real deal when you see it because you're the real deal, and Tom is truly gifted and has been truly touched by the cosmos and experienced a higher love with us that weekend than I suspect he has ever felt before in a gathering. And it uplifted him. It changed his vibration.
I love it. That's what it's all about.
See, Jonathan knows. He is an awesome, awesome man. We need to get Jonathan Altieri to that event.
We need to get a lot of people to that event.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll be working on all of that soon, and we'll be able to announce dates and everything. But
okay.
We're still kind of coming down because, that event, we're all still kind of a little bit out of the third dimension.
Yes.
Not kind of.
Not kind of.
Right. I was trying to.
No, I'm so serious. Like, I've been working because we have an event coming up this weekend, and I can see the difference in things. I've been creating things. Like, it's always been a little hard for me. When you have something in your mind, making it come to fruition, the things I've been able to just pop off, the things I've been able to do since this has been ridiculous. The writing, the creating, it's been unreal. Like,
That's great.
That's just for me. And my brain is weird. So that's a beautiful thing.
It's, remember the brilliant novel, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. And I think that our weekend together, there are a lot of people that came and they brought their invisible cages with them. And while they were there, they unlocked and discarded the cages. Oh, Bill said we could live stream it behind a paywall for a small we could. Deb, you talked to him about that, about live streaming this event, because I could touch a whole lot more lives than even the few hundred of us that will gather. It really is an amazing, amazing event. And I'm not doing any other UFO stuff. Yeah, he'll find out and let us know. I'm not doing any other UFO stuff this year. This is the only event that I'm doing that's specifically centered on the thing that really, other than staying alive, it's the thing that matters to me most. And my Peanut, where's Peanut? Hi, baby, this is my baby. Baby. But the more people that we can touch with this to get the better. But the thing is, I don't want to do any other events because for me, they are like preaching to the choir.
Right.
I'm just telling people who already know what I know, and they already know it. And that's great. And it's, wonderful to have these, intense conversations with people where you don't have to worry about what you're saying because they get it. They understand. They are able to interpret whatever vernacular you fall into. They are able to process the concepts, even if they haven't experienced it themselves. It's just a different kind of an environment, and not just a dimensionally a different environment. It's also intellectually a different environment.
Right.
Because you're talking to your own kind. Nobody,
Exactly.
like I said at the event, nobody stumbled in here by accident. You know, everybody that's in this room is here deliberately to expand their consciousness, to expand their base of knowledge, and to interact with people who feel the way that they do, which is to say they're interacting with people who feel everything and don't hold back anything. You know, we are the empaths. We are the people in the world, as so many of us, that need to remind other people that that is one of your most critically important qualities. And because being empathetic hurts, a lot of people hold back from allowing themselves to express that. Oh, Bill, what the hell? 2 minutes? Really? Really? So anyway, so I'll speed it up. Excuse me. So obviously we ran out of time and that blows, but we will, and we'll just do this again. And when, as the event is coming together, we'll all get back together and we'll do this again. And
Sounds
then we'll
good.
do our Unity Tree events together again. And just keep doing this and drawing those close to our flame, moths to flame.
Yes.
And circle
Absolutely.
the wagons. So I will,
that light.
And burn away the hate.
Yeah, exactly. So I will close the show out the way I always do, which is thank you all for being here, first and foremost. And I'm
Love
not
you.
telling you anything that you don't know. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Be the beacon of hope that lights the way for others. And always, always be the light you seek. I love you all. Have a wonderful night.
Love you too. Love you all.
Peace out.